Hello, everyone, and welcome to the unveiling of the results of the second edition of our digital study that explores online user behavior. Today, we present 5 key findings that will guide and fuel your digital strategies in 2024. Before diving in, I'd like to share a few details about the webinar. We should be together for just under an hour, and there will be a question period at the end. You can start asking them right now in the bar at the bottom, which is called Q&A. You'll receive a free copy of this year's study by email within hours following the webinar. It's our holiday gift for you, and it's important to us at Léger and Léger Digital to provide you with valuable information free of charge to help you make your decisions. My name is Sarah Mete. I'm General Manager at Léger Digital, and today I'll be joined by my colleagues, Boris Ang, Director, Strategy and Business Development at Léger Digital, Alan Daw, Senior Vice President at Léger, and Jenna Veritis, Research Director at Léger. This study is important to us because it demonstrates the power of building your online strategy on research. And that's exactly what we do at Léger Digital. We're the only agency that combines research and digital marketing. We specialize in digital performance campaigns and content activation. What makes us unique is that not only do we have access to this incredible pool of insights and data on your audience's behavior, but we also collaborate hand in hand with experts in research and analytics like Alan and Jenna. With all this, we're able to make better decisions for our clients, for you, because we ultimately know what your audience wants, and we can measure the effectiveness of what we do on an ongoing basis. This year's study theme is what keeps you up at night, you marketing and communications professionals. This year, we decided to include our clients in our reflection. We asked them, what's stressing you out? What makes you anxious? But above all, what information are you missing to build your marketing plan for 2024? We receive a wide range of questions, from should I open an account for my company or on Threads or on BeReal? Are influencers still credible communication channels for advertising? Or where and how can I reach more specific groups in the population, such as immigrants? Well, the fun part is that we're going to answer all of these questions today together. Here are 5 key findings that we hope will help you sleep soundly in 2024. Over to you, Alan.
Thank you, Sarah. Léger's 2024 digital study represents a major step forward in our research. We have an even more robust representative online sample of over 4,000 respondents aged 16 and over, which we achieved by surveying over 3,000 Canadians. And new this year, we added included over 1,000 Americans through our Léger Opinion panel. It's really exciting and important for us to have included the US in our research this year. It allows us to get a more holistic view of the North American market for our clients. And we have a great team of researchers in the US that can help you understand and navigate the American market and how it differs from Canada. This is important because you'll see that the US market tends to be an earlier adopter of many social media and online activities. So by understanding the American market, we can also perhaps see a glimpse of what the future might look like in the Canadian online landscape. I also want to highlight the sample size again. With over 3,000 Canadians included in the research, it's double that of what we typically have when we conduct political polling here in Canada. And Léger's polling records show us to be the most accurate in Canada. So not only are we super confident in the results we're presenting today, but this sample size allows us to segment the results in so many interesting ways that you'll see highlighted in our presentation today, and in even greater detail in our full report that follows. Significant differences will be noted by either a green font color or arrow, which means that the percentage is higher than that of all other respondents, and red means that it's lower than other respondents. The last point I want to mention this year is we also refined our questionnaire to better capture the diversity of the communities we survey, aligning with Léger's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. As part of this, we're also able to look at the results by first and second generation Canadians, which is great because we see a lot of clients who understand the importance of reaching these groups, and we can now provide a more accurate roadmap to do so. And with all this being said, I'll pass it to Boris, who will reveal our first key takeaway of Leger's 2024 digital study.
Thank you, Alan. So with the first discovery, we're going to see together how the new generations are transforming the digital landscape and what actions you can take in order to adapt to this rapid evolution. Our big chart is back for a second year. To fill it out, we ask Canadians a simple question. On which platform do you have an account? On the left, you'll find stats about the social media platforms. This year, we added Threads and BeReal. On the right, you'll have all the statistics related to the messaging services. In summary, the majority of respondents have an account on Meta platforms and on YouTube. So the top 5 are Facebook, Messenger, YouTube, Instagram, and WhatsApp. On average, Canadians have 6.1 accounts. And according to our studies data, respondents from Ontario and BC have, on average, slightly more accounts than those from the other provinces. We also observe a generational disparity in the adoption of platform between those over 45 and those under 45. Those under 45 have nearly twice as many accounts as those over 45. So older people prefer Facebook, while the younger ones are spread over a wider variety of platforms. So Facebook remains at the top in terms of the platform with the most registered accounts. But what about the favorite platform of Canadian users? Alan will now share with you more details on this subject.
As we just saw, Facebook is a clear leader in the proportion of people who have an account. However, we're seeing that Facebook's momentum is slowing down. When we asked people who have at least one social media account or messaging app, and the average is 6.1, when we ask them if they could only keep one, which one would they keep? And that's where we see, although Facebook is still the leader, we see a significant decline in those choosing it, down from 26% in 2022 to 21% of Canadians choosing it this year. And while Facebook is number one, this chart is amongst all Canadians. And when we split the data by age, we see another red flag for the platform's future in that it has an older user base. We found that of the 21% who selected Facebook as the one they would keep, 73%, so nearly 3/4, are over the age of 45. So it's still an important platform that if that's your target, but if your audience is under 45, then they are more likely to prefer Instagram. And looking at an even younger generation, amongst those aged 16 to 24, the Gen Zs, Facebook isn't even in their top 5. Those would be Instagram, YouTube, Discord, Snapchat, and Messenger. And before we move on, I also just want to acknowledge how WhatsApp stands out in that it has a significant increase in Canadians who choose it as a digital platform they would keep. When we look at the year-over-year proportion of people who have a specific social media account or messaging app, a few other trends appear that we want to highlight. The chart you're looking at shows 2022 data on the left in the light blue and 2023 data in darker blue on the right. As mentioned, as you can see, people are still on social media and habits are fairly stable from last year with Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as the top 3 platforms amongst Canadians. New this year, we see that 11% of Canadians have a Threads account and 6% have a BeReal account. And you can also see green arrows above LinkedIn, TikTok, and WhatsApp, indicating that significantly more Canadians have accounts with these platforms compared to last year. And although it doesn't get the statistical arrow, I'll be curious to monitor X, or formerly known as Twitter, over time, given the negative news it's received over the past year for various reasons, and the fact it has started to show a negative decline or negative shift in the number of account holders it has. Again, it's not quite significant yet, but it's something I'll be keeping an eye on. And speaking about news, I also want to quickly mention the importance of influencers. This year, 35% of Canadians say that they follow influencers or content creators on social media. And this is a significant increase from the 31% who followed them last year. Among followers this year, 68% hold a positive perception of the credibility of influencers' content. This shows that influencers can offer an opportunity to reach audiences outside their usual channels, with a voice that the audiences will trust. So with all this being said, I'll ask Boris, one of our digital marketing experts, based on what we've just shared, how would you recommend a brand reach their audiences with the right marketing strategy?
Yes, Alan, we have 3 recommendations to help you reach the right audience with your marketing strategy. First, implement a strategy tailored to your audiences. We say tailored because there is no single magic strategy that you can apply to your reality, right? This is especially the case for those engaging with the 16 to 24, whose online preferences and habits vary greatly. So to improve your strategy, it's important to examine and understand how your own followers use and react on your different platforms. And to do this analysis, we recommend conducting a digital audit, which we will talk about a bit shortly after. Also, don't hesitate to test your strategy and content tactic. Try different type of posts and tones, right, to see which one works best. Secondly, consider collaborating with influencers. Alan talked about it. They are increasingly followed and their content is gaining credibility. Influencers, particularly nano and micro influencers, have developed niche and highly engaged communities across several platforms. So it can be strategic to partner with them to reach younger audiences who may not naturally gravitate on your platforms, right? Finally, prepare yourself for the post-Facebook era, right? As we observe, Facebook is no longer a growing platform. Its popularity is declining, and it's very little used by 16 to 24. So many clients are noticing a drop in their performance on Facebook and asking us, what are their recommendations to update their strategy? So the challenge with this for many organizations is that we have invested so much time and money in building those Facebook and communities and growing our pages. So Facebook is really like considered for many the headquarters of your social media presence. So what we suggest is to take the time to see what's happening on your Facebook presence, right? Is it still meeting your objectives in terms of awareness, engagement, and performance? And start exploring other ways to diversify your digital ecosystem and reach new generations. Right, so let's talk about the Léger Digital Audit solution, right? We've discussed the importance of having specific strategy for each audience. The best way to determine if you have the right digital ecosystem and the appropriate strategy is to conduct a digital audit. So the audit will give you a clear view of the state of your ecosystem regarding your website, your social media presences, even your online advertising campaigns. So we will analyze also the digital activities and strategies of 3 to 5 organizations similar to yours on the local, national, and international level. The idea here is to identify the trends, the best practices in your industry. And at Léger, thanks to our expertise in research, we're able to analyze the voice of your followers. This is a survey that we promote among the followers of your communities to collect the feedback on their interests, motivation, preferences in terms of content and tactic you can offer them. So the voice of the followers is a really good complement to the digital audit. And with qualitative data, it will help you better understand the why behind the challenges you face with your digital ecosystem. So don't hesitate to contact us at solution@leger360.com to learn more about our digital audit offering.
Let's go over a second finding. This finding is particularly interesting for social media managers who frequently face the appearance of new platforms in the digital landscape and who are called upon by their managers or clients to quickly create an account on these new platforms and publish content right away. We know it's not that easy. So we were interested to find out whether or not it's worth investing in new platforms. We found that Canadians are inclined to sign up for new platforms, yes, but consistent usage is not guaranteed. So Alan, what did we find?
To look closer at the trends, we also asked what platforms people have joined or quitted over the past year. In the following chart, at the top in the light blue bar, we see that the percentage of Canadians who have joined a social media platform or messaging app in the past year. On the bottom bar in dark blue, we see the proportion of Canadians who have quit that specific platform in the past year. From this, we calculated a movement index, which is the proportion who joined minus the proportion who left. We see that Twitter, Snapchat, Pinterest, and Twitch all had negative scores on our movement index, and Twitter stands out with the greatest proportion of people who are quitting. When looking at the platforms that are growing with a positive movement index, we see platforms that allow users to connect quickly without any filters. WhatsApp and Discord are providing spaces for people to share instant, unfiltered connections, while Threads and BeReal seem to have been born out of a growing desire for authentic connections and content. And because I'll admit I had to look up what a couple of these platforms and how they worked, I'm going to pass it back to Sarah, who's an expert in the digital space, to speak more about some of them.
Yes, it's interesting to know that Threads and BeReal have high joining rates, but let's answer our question. Are they really being used? Well, when we dig into their cases, we find that these are short-lived buzz. Let's look at the data. So 11% of the active Canadian population has an account on Threads. It's interesting, 1 Canadian out of 10 has an account. But when we deep dive into the data, we see that only 6% uses it at least once a week, 4% at least every day. And nobody said it was their preferred social media or application. And when we look at BeReal, well, unfortunately, it's worse. Only 6% of the population has an account. 4% use it at least once a week, 3% at least every day. And again, nobody said it was their preferred platform. Thread is a very young platform and was launched in 2023, while BeReal was launched in 2020. So they're not yet mature. We will keep an eye on them over the next few years. But for the time being, if these apps don't come out, yes, with new features, it's not worth investing in them as a company. However, you should invest on TikTok. TikTok is more than just a passing trend. A third of the Canadian population has a TikTok account, and they generally use it. When we look at younger generation, such as Gen Z and millennials, half of them have a TikTok account. That's a lot. 43% use it at least once a week, and 33% every day. One of the biases that we often have when we think about TikTok is that it's only a platform for the young. Well, yes and no. It is a platform that 16 to 24 years old enjoy. 60% of them have it. However, if we look over our millennials, which are not super young anymore, 45% of them also have an account. And again, a third of the active Canadian population has an account. This should convince you to consider it in your strategy. What's amazing about our sample size in this study, like Alan presented it earlier, is that we can deep dive into certain groups of the population and find trends that are really particular to these subgroups. One of the audiences that we received the most questions about this year at Léger and Léger Digital is about the immigrant population. Our clients want to know and understand where and how to talk with them. Well, we have a clear answer for you. WhatsApp. WhatsApp is without any doubt the platform for first-generation immigrants. Let's look at the data. 75% of first-generation immigrants have a WhatsApp account. That's a big number. 34% would prioritize WhatsApp if they could keep only one platform. So we can assume it's their preferred platform. And half of them, so half of first-generation immigrants, use WhatsApp at least once a day. It goes up to 61% that use it at least once a week. Numbers don't lie, and if you want to build a relationship with this group, you must consider this platform. To sum up, 3 recommendations to help you to determine whether a new platform is worth investing in or not. First, evaluate the type of content posted. If you wish to publish content on TikTok or on YouTube, well, you must have the ability to produce videos. And of course, determine whether the platform is aligned with your brand's content strategy and objectives. Secondly, evaluate user profiles. Assess whether the demographics of the platform's user match your target audience and check their level of engagement. And finally, consider TikTok. Its ever-growing popularity makes it an excellent platform for reaching the active population and a younger audience as well. In 2023, again, about 1/3 of the Canadian population is on TikTok. Our third finding is about fatigue. We found that fatigue and anxiety online are 2 very real phenomena. Overall, we observed that Canadians are having a less enjoyable moment when they spend time on the web. For instance, 76% of them said they like to visit the web for entertainment or inspiration, which is a downward trend since 2022. Likewise, they also are less open to share personal information on digital platforms. We sense a tense climate online. If these are downward trends, we also have increasing trends that confirms this climate. So 60% of them said, when I browse a digital platform, I am very suspicious. 49% said, I find it difficult to discern the real from the fake on digital platform. And finally, 23% of them said very directly, the web is a source of stress for me. So there's something going on. And I think you're getting to know us by now. We like asking questions. So we ask our respondents to tell us why they quit a platform this year. Reason number 1 is because there is a lack of interest in content. Second reason is because the platform just doesn't suit them anymore. Yes, thank you. We can just go back to the quitting content. Thank you. And 27% of them said it's for privacy or security reason. The third one, which is not on the slide, but still interesting, 26% said it's because they find that the content is toxic. So there's definitely a sense of boredom with the content that they see. But that's not all. Of course, we also asked them what's their motivation behind joining a new platform in 2023. And the first reason is to connect and communicate with people around me. 32% said to follow accounts I like, and finally 27% because they're interested in the content. What is interesting for us here is that this brings us back to the roots of social media. Why are we active on social media? Well, to connect with our family, our friends, or to join groups of interest. And brands must act as a link, between users to encourage and foster these connections. Boris, now that we know all of this, how can a brand make its content more engaging?
Yes, let's see how you can make your content more engaging, taking into account the need of users to be entertained, interact positively, and reduce their stress on social networks. So first, give a human touch to your brand. Highlight its authenticity and personality, tell real stories, share experience to connect with your audience. This approach not only makes your brand more accessible, but also provides a welcome, stress-free space for your audience to enjoy. Next, capitalize on the popularity of video. The data from our study shows that 4 of the 5 most popular social platforms among 16 to 34 years old are Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, and TikTok. These platforms are very much focused on video content. So it may seem intimidating to produce video content, but thanks to the story format, today's platforms are better designed to highlight this authentic, simple iPhone-produced video content. Finally, Create opportunities for dialogue with your followers. This can be done simply by inviting them to express themselves or using humor to provoke positive interaction. The data proves it. Users are looking for moments of well-being and relaxation on social networks. So finding the right angle to facilitate those conversations can be very beneficial for engagement and loyalty of your members.
Wow, really great recommendations, Boris. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Jenna, Research Director in New York. And before I get started, I wanted to talk a little bit about our US team. Our office is located in the beautiful Westchester County, just a short drive from Manhattan. Our experienced team is made up of senior researchers with a focus on CPG, health and wellness, luxury goods, and travel and tourism. Additionally, I'm proud to share that we have a growing panel in the US. So today I'm thrilled to be presenting the US data and exploring the nuances between the American and Canadian user. As Alan previously mentioned, consumer and digital trends move rapidly in the US. So regardless of where you operate, it's important to be tapped into the trends of the American market. Let's discuss our fourth finding. Americans have a strong and diverse online presence, and they generally trust the content on social media. So first things first, you must be wondering which platforms are Americans using? As you can see on this slide, Americans are operating on a wide range of platforms, including more common platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, X, formerly Twitter, and LinkedIn, but as well as on more non-traditional platforms such as Reddit, Twitch, Threads, and Be Real. This widespread usage enables brands to have an advantage. With multiple platforms being used, there's a greater opportunity to engage your target audiences. So across these platforms, how are Americans engaging online? Similar to Canadians, respondents' top online habits include scrolling on their newsfeed, watching videos or movies, reading articles, and streaming music. One of the key differences we observed between the US and Canadian online habits is that Americans participate in a greater proportion of activities online. We are significantly more likely to participate in virtual shopping, which includes completing a transaction or just simply browsing, playing video games, reading journals, magazines, blogs, and more. So with such a strong online presence in the US, we have learned that they are much more receptive to online advertising. In fact, when it comes to online advertising, Americans are significantly less likely to say that they try to avoid web ads and that they have a dislike for web ads compared to the Canadian user. Instead, Americans have more confidence and trust in online, indicating they're more likely to share their personal information on digital platforms as a way to receive personalized offers or to enhance or personalize their overall experience. Therefore, understanding the American mindset is imperative. They're increasingly relying on social media as a trusted information source. As you can see on this slide, there is a high level of trust in the content on social media compared to traditional sources like newspapers, whether that be print or digital, television, live radio, and podcasts compared to Canadians. For example, only 46% of Americans trust print newspapers more than social media, compared to the 58% of Canadians who say they trust print newspapers more than social media. So Boris, given all these great learnings, are there any differences in the way companies should target Canadians and Americans?
Thank you, Jenna. Yeah, let's highlight 3 recommendations for engaging the US audience effectively. So first, leveraging trending content and platforms. So keep up with what's popular on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, which are favorites in the US. Try to make content that fits this trend to get more people interested and to make your brand more visible. For example, join in on a popular challenge on TikTok, use trending hashtag on Instagram. The main idea is to make content that is both trendy and true to what your brand is about. Then build trust through authenticity and transparency. Since American audience tends to trust social media more than Canadians, focus on building a genuine connection with them. Share what happens behind the scenes and let your customer tell their own stories. This means not just selling your product, but also sharing stories and information that shows the human side of your brand. For example, you could post videos that show how your products are made, or have customers talk about their experience with your brand. Authenticity in your post and interaction can really enhance trust and loyalty amongst US social media users. Finally, capitalize on targeted digital advertising. Americans are more open to online ads, so use this to your advantage. Utilize data-driven insights to create personalized and relevant ads that resonates with the different segments of the US audience. So you can incorporate storytelling in your ads to enhance engagement and conversion rates. So also explore the different advertising formats on newer platforms like Snapchat, TikTok. They can really help you reach a wider and more varied audience. So by acknowledging and leveraging this distinction, you can create marketing strategy that effectively resonate within the US market.
So this leads us to our final key takeaway number 5 we wanted to share today, in that preferences for digital platforms vary significantly according to demographic segments and user interests. Now, demographic segmentation is fairly straightforward, given how we asked several profiling questions in line with Leger's new DEI standards. So it allows us to segment by common variables such as age and gender, and as we saw, presented by immigration status. When it came to segmenting by user interests, to do this, we first asked people to select their top 5 interests from a diverse range of topics. Then, for each of their areas of interest, we asked respondents to select and rank up to 3 social media platforms that they use most often to engage with content in that area. And Boris will share more specifics about how Canadians are engaging with some of their top interests.
Yeah, let's look at the usage trends among respondents who are interested in travel and sport. For the general population, we notice that Facebook dominates. It's where users want to receive their news related to travel and sports. However, for the 16 to 24 and the 25 to 44 age groups, Instagram is really the go-to platform for travel, right? Users go to Instagram to show everyone that they're traveling, but they also use it to get inspiration and plan their trip in advance. So we were talking earlier about the generational disparity in terms of adoption of platform. And here we have a clear example with travel, right? So Facebook, the reference for those over 45, but for those under 45, it's really Instagram. Here we will focus on the preferred platforms for fans of video games and technology. YouTube is the #1 platform in these areas for the general population. This is explained by the large number of users who are following content creators on YouTube in these fields, but also by the fact that YouTube is the second most popular search engine after Google. So whether it's to get specific information on a new technology or to watch a video game review, YouTube is the reference for video games and technology enthusiasts. It's worth noting that amongst gamers aged 16 to 24, Twitch stands out as the most popular platform, right? Twitch is known for its live streaming, allowing dynamic interactions between streamers and viewers. They can create unique community experience together. So the young gamers find live content there, they share tips, they discuss about their video games. So this direct interaction and presence of with engaging communities make Twitch really the favorite space for enthusiasts in this age group. Instagram clearly dominates in the field of beauty, fashion, and shopping. This trend is also highlighted in the big chart at the beginning, showing that Instagram is particularly popular among women. So it's interesting to note that Pinterest is the 3rd favorite platform for those interested in fashion and shopping. Pinterest is excellent for discovering, suggesting, and inspiring new content and brands. But let's not forget that Pinterest also offers advertising option to support brands that are looking to use these channels to generate sales. Among young people aged 16 to 24, TikTok has become the preferred platform for everything related to beauty. This is particularly due to the presence of numerous beauty TikTokers. They have millions of followers. So these influencers, they have successfully leveraged the TikTok short dynamic format to share tutorials and present the latest beauty trends in a super engaging way. So we have an exciting new feature to share with you this year. It's the Léger Digital Interactive Report, which is now available for purchase. You'll be able to access all the data from this study through the self-serve interactive interface. This tool enables you to explore the specifics and extract information relevant to your needs and reality. We just went over a few examples previously, but with our tool, you'll have the opportunity to explore a wide range of over 15 diverse interests, covering everything from news, health, finance, technology, fashion, and much more, right? So with all these interests, you can cross-reference the data based on segment, age, country, region, gender, language, and you can even isolate data related to immigrants. So for example, if you want data related to users who have a interest in finance in Ontario, who are first-generation immigrants, it's possible. You can get all this information simply by selecting the search filters, right? So you can contact us at the same address, solution@leger360.com, to get the interactive report.
Thank you, Boris. Thank you, Alan and Jenna as well. In a nutshell, what should you remember from this webinar? Well, first, new generations are reshaping the digital landscape. Be ready for the post-Facebook era. Second, while the registration rate for emerging platforms is high, actual usage remains low. Evaluate if a platform is worth your investment before jumping on it. The phenomena of digital fatigue and anxiety are very much a reality. Make sure to share as a brand human, positive, and fulfilling content for your followers. The American online presence is diverse and often sets trends. Keep an eye on what's going on in the US to identify upcoming trends in Canada. And finally, the choice of platforms varies greatly based on interest. You should get our digital interactive report to segment your audience and understand where they are most active. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending our webinar. And before we go to the question period, I just want to remind you that you will receive this in the next hours by email, a copy of the Digital Study 2024. Also, this webinar can be adapted and presented in your organization. I also want to thank the people who worked hard on this study, Sarah Maillet-Legault, who coordinated the entire study, Caroline Fortin for content direction, Lynn Tran and Elsa Gravel for art direction and visual production. Thank you all to the digital team. Now let's open the question period. Again, you have a Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom window, so please feel free to ask us questions. So I see that we already have a lot of questions about our digital interactive report. Maybe we could go back to this slide. Alan, can you go into detail of what we can find in this report?
Yes, for the digital interactive report, and I just want to differentiate, everybody will be receiving a hard copy or an electronic copy of the presentation that was given today with actually more details in it. This interactive report will let you navigate the data on your own. And all the questions that you saw today presented and all the data, you'll be able to segment and slice the data by all these variables you see here, as well as a few more, including employment. So if you're interested in looking at younger males within a particular region, you can do that within the dashboard that's being provided.
Thank you, Alan. And can we make the distinction between the free report and this interactive report?
Yes, so the free report will be showing up in your email inbox, and it will again be a review of everything that was discussed today with a few extra details. And this is a paid digital interactive report that, please email the solutions at Leger 360 email to reach out and find out more information. And that is a paid version of to allow you to explore on your own.
Exactly, that allows you to enter filters, which the free report just shows the Canadian and American data as a whole. I've got a question for you, Boris, about WhatsApp. How do you use WhatsApp in a marketing strategy? I have only ever seen it used as an alternative to Messenger.
Yes, it's true. WhatsApp is different from Facebook. It's not like brands don't have a WhatsApp page where you can post content and it would appear in the newsfeed. So WhatsApp is a messaging service. So it's really relevant when you are in a client relation dynamic. We see a lot of more companies using WhatsApp to interact and engage with candidates looking for a job. So it's good to capitalize on this option when you want to get in a conversation mode with your audience. So this is how brands are starting to using it more.
Thank you, Boris. I have another one for you. What should a brand do if it cannot post on TikTok due to government warnings?
Yes. Yeah, it's a challenge. I know that many organizations cannot, for now, post on TikTok. Same with Meta ads. I know there's some limitation to different organizations at the moment. I think we need to stay agile because rules changes quickly. But if you want, the advantage with TikTok is reaching a younger audience. I think that the next big platform to reach that younger audience is definitely Instagram. So if you're not already on Instagram, see what you can do to be active on Instagram. You can explore opportunities with Snapchat as well. But yeah, I think we need to stay really agile and stay up to date with what we can do to engage with the younger crowd.
Thank you, Boris. Alan, maybe a question for you. I see that we have a lot of questions about Bill 18 that just came up in Canada. We did ask some questions to our respondents about this. Can you share a few results?
Yes. When we asked about it and whether or not Canadians have heard the news about it, we found 79% of Canadians are aware of Meta and Google announcing the end of Canadian news on their platforms. But only 26% have personally taken steps to find alternative ways to stay informed after the announcement of this bill.
Thank you, Alan. Also, another question for you. People are asking how the respondents are using LinkedIn, and maybe we have an answer with looking for jobs.
Yeah, we also included a question about that and found that 21% of Canadians are looking for job opportunities on social media at least once a week. So they're very active out there, and I believe LinkedIn has about 42% of people who are using it or have an account there. So, definitely an area where it ties well together. But overall, when 1 in 5 Canadians are actively out there looking for job opportunities, it's just something for employers also to be aware of, and HR and lots of can impact a lot of different levels of an organization.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. A question for you, Boris. How is storytelling creating a significant interest in consumers?
Yeah, it's all about content. We're seeing in the data that people are looking to more stress-free, engaging environment. People are looking to go back to the basics of social media. So I think finding a right way to talk to your audience in an authentic way is really important. It goes back a lot to storytelling, and it goes back to updating or finding the good content strategy for your social media platform. We've talked about it. I think doing an audit, seeing the data, auditing similar organization in the industry, see what are the best practices in your industry will give you a lot of idea how to update your content strategy and find the right content and tone to reach, to engage with your audience.
Thank you, Boris. A question for you, Jenna, about the US. So we've received a question. What is the most surprising element you found in the US data?
There is a lot to unfold in the US data, and more if you interact with our digital report. However, I would say the most surprising learning for me was related to how open Americans are to US advertising compared to the Canadian audience.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe one last question for you, Boris. I know you have the answer, a part of the answer. Has there been any noticeable differences in social media usage between French-speaking Canadians and English-speaking Canadians? We do have a comparison for Quebec versus Canada, right?
Yes, in Quebec, we tend, in Canada, the average the Canadian have an average 6.1 account. In Quebec, it's lower, it's 5.2. So we tend to, here in Quebec, adopt new technologies and platform a bit lower. We're lagging a little bit. So yeah, but yeah, Quebec, we're definitely fan number ones of Facebook and Messenger. It's the province with the highest adoption of Facebook. We're still really kind of tied in and stuck to Facebook and Messenger here in Quebec compared to the other provinces.
Great, amazing. And maybe one last question for Boris, but also maybe Alan, you can complete Boris on this. Which platform would you recommend as a plan B for Twitter, which is trending down?
Oh, I think I would recommend LinkedIn, right? We see a raise in LinkedIn in terms of popularity. The Generation Z is joining LinkedIn. They like the tone, they like the content. And also on LinkedIn, we've heard about lately more about LinkedIn influencers. LinkedIn is supporting content creators with more functionalities to create articles, to create their own newsletter. So it's much more than just a platform to connect and find a job now. You can really go on LinkedIn to stay up to date with news about a lot of subjects. So LinkedIn is really trending right now.
Yeah, and I would agree with Boris just in terms of how engaging it with LinkedIn. We know that lots of people are using it for finding jobs, but they are also changing their habits and using it as an information source because they're choosing to follow credible people who they feel are credible on that platform and looking for content from them.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. We will leave up some time for you to get to your next meeting. You will receive again a copy of the free report by email in the next hours. Please feel free to contact us if you have any questions we didn't answer. It will be a pleasure for us to collaborate with you. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.